I may get lost sometimes, and I may forget like what I'm doing because of like my ADD and ADHD and shit. But like, I'm not a fucking dumb person, and I know what a lot of these people are doing. They're saying, look here, see, we're for you, and they're throwing us crumbs while giving the whole buffets, to other programs and other lobbyists that they're fucking bailing out, and big companies that they're fucking bailing out, and gender study programs that they're sending overseas, and fucking war aid to Iraq, and like, just all this fucking money is just leaving our economy, and it's going towards stupid shit. It's like, why are we spending this much fucking money on this frivolous shit? Like, if you imagine, right, so 1.9 trillion, that's enough. That money alone, 1.9 trillion. If this was really a COVID relief bill, all that money would go back to the American people, all of it, and not a cent would go towards these democratic circus sideshows, like. And that's exactly what it is. Like, it's a fucking circus sideshow. Like, it's like, no, listen, this is what it's like. It's like when you go into a fairground or like a circus, and then and you go to witness an event, and you take your seat, and then the entertainment comes on, and it's the fucking the dorky fucking bozo clown fucking juggling shit, and making himself look stupid, just old like slapstick comedy. Guess which one we are? We're the fucking clowns in the center, and everybody else around us that's clapping and cheering and hee-hawing, and oh god, look at what he's doing right now. It's so funny. Like, oh, like poor, I'm glad I don't have to do that. I'm glad that I am privileged enough that I can sit here and make fun of this guy, even though that's what he's out there for. But still, the point is like, yeah, like, you have that privilege, and you don't know how grateful you are for it. You don't. Like, there's no other country in the world to be where you would rather be a black man, a gay man, a Muslim man, just different cultures and different beliefs from all around the world. There's no better place where you could be than America, and that's a fact. Because a lot of other places, if you don't conform with their ideology, you see what's happening in China with the Uyghur Muslims, with the organ harvesting, and forceful abortions, and just labor camps and all this stuff, and it's just crazy. Like, you guys don't know how lucky you have it. Like, if you went to another country and you tried protesting, or you tried being gay, or you tried saying like you were a conservative and you believe in Jesus, or you're a Satan worshiper, or whatever the case may be, right? What's okay here definitely would not be okay in a lot of other countries. So you got to keep in mind how lucky you are to be able to come to a country and to live in a country where you can literally be dirt poor, but then by your mid-40s be a millionaire, or own multiple businesses and multiple houses. And I don't think that and I get that it's hard and it's a process, guys, but that's the point of life. Life is always going to be an uphill battle. It's always going to be an uphill fight. You just can't give up just because things get hard, When your dad threw you in the pool and said, sink or swim, you didn't just fucking, I'm just going to sink because swimming is too hard, so I'm just going to drown. Like, no, like, you fought like a motherfucker to swim, float, doggy paddle, float on, sink on my back, you know what I mean? Do the dead man float, like, whatever the case may be. Kick my legs, keep gasping for air, but you know that you fucking fought and you never gave up. You need to look at life the same way. Right now, you need to look at life the same way, and just understand that we have it really good. And there are a lot of good things about our countries, despite its flaws, despite all the slavery and stuff that happened, despite the vision of manifest destiny, and us, not us in particular, but American ancestors taking, pretty much stealing land from the Indians, and the Trail of Tears and all that. Yeah, guys, all that shit was bad, but it happened so long ago. Like, sure, we should never forget about what happened, but we shouldn't hang on to it and let it ruin our future, because you can't move forward with the future if you're constantly living in the past, because then it's a weight that's tethered to your leg that keeps pulling you back and won't let you go forward. And I really just think that, like, when it comes to this whole, like, you know, the whole racism stuff and, you know, and all that, guys, just leave people alone. People are gonna do what they're gonna do, all right? But we can't keep making these mainstream issues, because while we're making this stuff mainstream issues, all the corporate bigwigs, all the media bigwigs, all the fucking actors who, you know, are pretty much just tools for advertising for big companies. That's exactly what they are. They're tools of advertisements for big companies. They're fucking laughing it up, and they have money bags, stacking money bags off of your outrage. You know? Oh, we're gonna boycott Goya Foods, and only buy. Remember when the president of Goya Foods, I'm not sure if you heard about this, but I'm gonna inform you, the president of Goya Foods came out and supported Trump, and that's his right to do so. So fucking leave that man alone. But if okay, so I lost my train of thought. Okay. So this is what I was gonna say. So outrage creates revenue, right? So if, you know, Disney and all these other left-leaning companies, you know, far left-leaning companies come out and say boycott, you know, Goya Foods, and, you know, start using alternative, you know, things for this, and maybe, like, let's say you're an actor who maybe has started like a new food company, you know, like you're getting into the market of canned goods, you know, well, that outrage is going to drive up revenue sales, because when your product is on the shelf next to Goya, even though that Goya is probably, might be, I don't know, a superior product for cheaper, they're going to pick up the other container because they're not in it logically. It's just their outrage that's driving them, and their hatred, you know, because hatred is so blinding, and it took me so long to figure that out. And like, you really, really need to understand, guys, the amount of manipulation that goes on every single day in our society. And it's going to be to the point that if it keeps happening, we might as well just be brainwashed from birth and just become drones, you know? Like, you see it with our public school institutions right now, you know? You see, like, all this, you know, talking about the white radical race theory, and, you know, you see, like, these other disturbing elements that are being introduced to, you know, the children of tomorrow, you know, the youth of tomorrow, or the youth of right now is going to become the adults of tomorrow. And you just see the amount of brainwashing that's just going on, and just the amount of things that they're being fed that has nothing to do with school. Like, why do kids need to know about critical race theory and, you know, like transgenderism and like butt sex and like all this other stuff? Like, why do kids need to know about that? Like, it's just something that's being normalized by Hollywood. Because I'm gonna let you in on a secret. The richer these motherfuckers get, the weirder they get, right? And by weird, I mean, like, when it gets to a point that you have so much money that you can buy experiences that you didn't earn, you start to get bored with life. And then you have to go to more extremes in order to get that same high that you got out of life that you once previously did by doing other things. And then you have to take it a little bit further and a little bit further. Next thing you know, you're on fucking Jeffrey Epstein's jet, flying to his fucking private island, Bill. Which, it's still baffling that he fucking got away with that. Like, you guys just gotta understand, like, watch your kids, pay attention to what they're doing online, what they're reading, what their teacher's telling them, the things that they are saying to them, and just be really fucking mindful of your children's mind, because a child's mind is so impressionable. It's so impressionable, and everything just leaves an impact, and it just lasts forever. So just be so mindful and make sure that the diet of knowledge that they're getting, you need to vet it first. And honestly, I would just recommend homeschooling now, because schools aren't even doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, yeah, they teach them like some bullshit here and there, things that was fucking worthless to me when I got out of high school. Like, yeah, I need to know how to read, I need to know how to count, I need to know how to write my name, I need to know how to spell, right? I need to know how to socialize with people. But, you know, like, outside of like academics, like teachers should not be talking to kids, you know, especially like in first grade and second grade about, you know, critical race theory and about, you know, getting rid of your whiteness and like, you know, and I'm not even a white guy, you know, but that just sounds so sick. Like, get rid of your whiteness. You know how racist that is. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, he's white, I can be a racist towards him. Like, no, like, yeah, you can, but it still doesn't make it right. And you still shouldn't be fucking doing it. Because that same shit that you're accusing them of doing, you're gonna do it right back to them and be a fucking hypocrite. Like, come on now, if you want to really prove that you're the better person, just turn the cheek, right? Or talk it out. Say, look, we may not agree on things, but if we can come here and meet in the middle ground and talk it out, we can get some things worked out. Because as of right now, like, I have no faith in our public school institutions. None. I took calculus when I was back in high school. You know how much calculus I use now? Fucking zero. Zero amount of calculus is what I use now. Because I didn't want to do any motherfucking shit involving calculus. Like, what the fuck do I need to know calculus for? Maybe like the basics. But if anything, I needed more life skills, right? For when I got out into the real world. I needed to learn how to take out a mortgage, take out a loan, build my credit, get a car, you know? I needed to know about investing in stocks and bonds, the down market. You know, these are all things that I needed to know about when I was younger, but I didn't learn until I got a little bit older and I started educating myself. Because, guys, anything that a school can teach you, you can teach yourself 10 times more. And it's all at the tips of your fingers, and it's fucking free, and you don't need a degree, right? I mean, obviously you need a degree for some things. If you're gonna be a brain surgeon, you better have a fucking degree if you're gonna be a brain surgeon. Like, don't come in here just winging this shit like, oh, surreal, oh, this is my first time. I studied it online, and I think I'm doing it right. Like, well, you're working on my brain, motherfucker. It's already fucked up. Like, don't fuck it up anymore. And, I just think that you guys, I just really need to watch your kids more. Parents out there. And I have friends, you know, who you know, have kids who are in school right now. And you just really need to watch them. You need to ask them and talk to them and communicate with them. You need to take the iPad away, the iPod, the phone. You need to take that shit away from them sometimes. And the best time to do that, honestly, is dinner. The best thing that you can do as a family and with your kids is have dinner with them. Because what good is it to sit in front of a TV by yourself and eat fucking dinner? Like, you're not learning anything. I mean, unless you're watching like the Discovery Channel or something. But good forum public discussion and talking things out with people who are wiser than you is a good thing. And parents, you need to stop being friends with your kids and you need to start being more parents. Not all of you, just some of you. But you definitely need to watch your kids at the dinner table. Ask them, so what did you guys talk about today at school? Oh, what made your teacher say that? And just, you know, poke and prod a little bit, but don't be too, like, over-exerting, because then the kid will probably just clam up. And then you just shot yourself in your own fucking foot. Right through the tibia, baby. But you need to sit down and you need to talk to them. And even if you need to incentivize them to know what you need to know from them, then do it, you know? Hey, Johnny, you want an ice cream cone? But to get this ice cream cone, I need you to tell me more about what Miss Klopper was saying in class today about, you know, the race thing or whatever. You need to tell me more about that, because that's not something that Miss Klopper should be teaching you. And it's sickening. It really is. Like, it's sickening. Like, you're programming people and you're brainwashing people. And that's why our generation right now is so fucked up, is because This all really started, this identity politics and this critical race theory, it all started with the Obama administration, and it started on Occupy Wall Street. And do you know why it started? Because it gave people something to fight about, right? That's genius. It's fucking genius when you think about it. A nation cannot stand united against you if they're constantly fighting amongst themselves, you know? Because then you come out, right? So then the companies and the people in power come out as this shining beacon of armor, and they're like, oh, look at all these riots and look at all this stuff that's going on, guys, and you know, all this racism and you know, people were slaves and all this stuff. They're really distracting you from a bigger picture. While you're arguing over this stuff, they're seizing control. They're seizing control, and they're taking power, and they're taking your resources from your tax dollars, and they're just giving it away frivolously. And you know what, honestly, when you send all this money overseas to different places, it devalues our currency bad. And that's the reason why price goes up on things, is because when you devalue a currency, right, it becomes the product, the money becomes worth less than what it was before. And so then you have to give more of that money in order to pay for a product that might not have been, you know, like if a gallon of milk is like $3, and then, you know, the money is leaving the economy constantly, you know, it's gonna have a downward twirl on the market, because then if the economy is not being stimulated, right, then it brings down the overall revenue of at an economical rate, right? So when you send monies overseas, you're essentially taking money that was meant to be not in fucking Mexico, not in Russia, not in Pakistan, but the money was meant to be in the United States. But when you send that money out overseas, you're boosting another economy and devaluing our own economy. When you go to the store and you see that a gallon of milk is fucking $5 a gallon, you know, because all these people are getting money and sending it out of the economy, or you know, they're just not spending it, you know what I mean? Because you have to spend money to keep people in work, you know? Because how is a store like Food for Less or even, I fucking hate Walmart, but how is a store like Food for Less or fucking Walmart gonna stay in business if they're not selling anything? They can't. So then at that point, if they're not getting as much business, they have to raise the price of goods. And then if you raise the price of goods, you have to pay people more money because the price of living just went up. And it's going to come to a point to where the price of living just keeps going higher and higher, and the rate of minimum wage or the rate that you're currently getting is not going to be enough, not unless you're like a millionaire. But you keep printing off money and giving it away to people, and there's no gold standard. There's nothing to back that American dollar other than the God-given faith of the value that you put into it. You don't understand. That's a recipe for disaster. Because I'm not saying that it will happen, but one of my predictions of what could happen is you would definitely see a recession, then eventually a depression again. Just because you would have so much money floating around, and if you can't, because when there's too much money in the economy, it creates inflation, you know? When there's so much fucking money out there that you can literally walk down the street and fucking pick it up, like, it's worthless at that point. Like, nobody wants it, you know? So then you have to find alternative methods of payment, you know? And by alternative methods, I mean, maybe you have to barter. Maybe you gotta, you know, if you have Bitcoin, you know, if you're lucky enough to have like stocks, you know, like stocks in Bitcoin, like you own some Bitcoin, super lucrative, you know what I mean? Like, there's are exceptions out there to where like that doesn't really matter. But as far as like the upper echelon, and in this society right now, right, where money is just being printed off and given to people, right, the super rich don't have anything to worry about because they have fuck all money. They have so much money that it doesn't matter. Like, they could afford that $16 or $16 gallon of milk. They can afford, you know, they can afford to pay, you know, $30 for like 6 ounces of meat, you know. Like things that you couldn't afford, like just to live, they can afford it, and they can afford it in spades, 10 times over. Like, we live in a country right now, we live in a time where people are just so obsessed with the materialistic things that they have. And I just wish that people would just calm down and just realize that shit don't really matter in the end. Like, how much money you accumulate, yeah, it's good for your family to be well off, but at the end of the day, like, you're gonna be judged for your actions. Like, I don't want to say that, but like, that's how I feel. I feel like everybody's gonna be judged for their actions. And just remember, what you do to people, you get back. So if you're a bad person and you treat people bad and you step on people for wealth and power and you hurt people, that's not okay. Eventually, all that's going to come back on you. And whether you answer for it in the physical life, because like my body's not shit. My body is only a vessel. That's all that it is. It's a vessel. My spirit is the real content. It's the real juicy part, right? You ever heard of the meat and potatoes? Okay, well, my body is the potatoes and my soul is the meat, right? At the end of the day, we're all going to be judged. And if there really is a heaven and if there really is a place of judgment, even if it's not heaven, even if it's just a place of judgment, where that decides, that depicts the rest of eternity for you based on your actions in life, like how many of you would be able to say with a good conscience, like, I'm walking through those doors? And you know what's sad at this point? I'm not even sure I could say myself that I'm walking through those doors. But how nice would it be if all that were true, right? When you make it into heaven and you just look down below and you see every single motherfucker who's ever caused mass human suffering or just hurt people for their own gain and their own privilege. Like, if you could just see those people living their eternity, and even if they weren't in hell, maybe it's just like a desolate wasteland, like a purgatory type setting where they're just like living there, existing, but not really doing anything other than maybe surviving, or like, how good would that feel to know that they were appropriately judged and they got their comeuppance? No, I'm not perfect, and I know that I've hurt people, but I try my best every day. And with that, I am signing off. I'm sorry, I did not mean for this talk to take so long, guys. Have a great day, and if you like me, and you like my content, right, then please hit the subscribe button below. Please hit the like button. Please hit the share button, okay? And if anybody knows of anyone who can start like a nonprofit or something, something just to fucking help people, because I can't fucking take it anymore. Like, I love my city. I love Los Angeles, but you know what I don't love? Walking down the street and having to avoid piles of human shit and fucking dirty needles and shit on the fucking ground and tents everywhere. Like, guys, if anybody knows of anybody who could really help and could really establish a nonprofit for the city of Los Angeles, like, just feel free to contact me. My number's 323-332-0752. You can text me or you can call me. My email is sergioblack2019@gmail.com. Okay? And with that, that's all that we have left. So, can I officially say good morning? Yes, it is 5:35. So officially good morning, gents and ladies, and have a great rest of your day, okay? Bye.